What's up guys, macadii here, and today guys, week 9 of the PPL League, where I'm up against Electric Storm, coach of the Melbourne Victory Star. Now if you guys enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like down below, I would really appreciate it. Now we're not doing particularly well at the minute, we are currently 3 and 5 if I remember rightly, and definitely the problems are appearing in the draft, most notably due to the fact I struggle a lot with electric types. A lot of my offense is quite frail and it's difficult to try and get it in. I've got fantastic sort of offensive options, but as I said, it's just trying to get them in that's the hardest part, and it's the electric weakness that gets me every single time. But anyway, we're gonna just try ride out the season, try and hopefully get another win or two, but it's not looking like we're going to be sitting particularly well. But next season, if it does work for me and I just end up coming back, we're going to get a much better squad going that fits my playstyle just a little bit better, I think. So what we'll do is we'll run through what he could be bringing, what I'm going to be bringing to answer that, and then go in from there. So he has got the Tapu Bulu, Heatran, Scizor, Heliolisk, Latios, Silvally, which can be obviously any type, Tauros, Lantern, Ninetales, and Victory Bells. The Sun option there, which is a little bit spooky. Luckily, I've got some nice priority to be able to check that, especially in the form of Mega Pinsir. Mega Pinsir has a pretty good matchup. He hasn't got the best switch-ins, possibly like Lantern, especially if it's got the grassy terrain from Tapu Bulu, and I'm expecting either like a Scarf or Shucker Heatran. In terms of his offense, Scizor was probably, I was sort of expecting that to come, mainly because that allows him to deal with my Nihilego, it gives him some nice priority, helps, just pressure a lot of my offense, because as I said, a lot of my offense hits hard, but it's really, really frail. Latios could be potentially scary, especially at some sort of like calm mindset, being able to set up on my walls and things like that. And then obviously Tapu Bulu, very difficult to switch into. Luckily, we got one of the best answer switch-ins in the form of Skarm, so that will make our life a lot easier. His only rocks options is Heatran, so I'm 100% was at the time was sort of expecting Heatran to come. So I was expecting like Heatran, Scizor, Heliolisk was definitely coming because, as I said, my team just rolls over and dies to electric types. And then I was expecting probably the Latios, and then the rest was sort of a little bit more of wild cards just to see from there. So we have got the Mega Pinsir here with the Swords Dance, with Return Quick Attack, Earthquake, and Swords Dance, as I said. Does have a really good matchup. It's one of those mons that is fantastic, but it's just not my cup of tea really. So we're going to be making some changes next season, I can definitely tell you that. But it just has such a good matchup, I couldn't not bring it. Next up, we got the Choice Specs Nihilego. He's not got the best switch into this. We've got Him Power Ground there to catch the Heatran off guard. We can spam, Power Gem quite a lot. He's not got that Scizor. He's not got the best switch-ins to a Power Gem, and even that, unless it's like a Spadef set, is going to be KO'd. Obviously, Bullet Punch is a thing, but we'll have to watch out for that. And we've got Spec Stealth Rock just in case we want to try and get our Stealth Rocks up and things like that. Next up, we got the Zygarde, which is a Life Orb set with Outrage and Sludge Wave. So the Sludge Wave allows us to handle Tapu Bulu pretty well. Thousand Arrows is not affected by the grassy terrain, which is pretty sweet. The extreme speed there helps me check the Victory Bell, any Scarfers, if that's, say, I don't know, Scarf Heliolisk or something like that, we can catch that off guard, and just generally, just priority would be really nice to have. Then we've got the Skarmory, which is a very interesting set. I thought, towards the end of the season, might as well have a bit of a meme. So we've got a Double Dance Skarmory set with the Honju Berry, with the Natural Gift Ground, so that can allow us to hit the Heatran, the Lantern, and potentially the Ninetales as well. So that's going to be pretty sweet. We've either can Agility up if we want to, or we can Swords Dance up with the Sturdy. I really wanted to. My original set was Weak Armor, which was such a much better set, because what would happen is they would attack you, you get your +2 speed, you'd Swords Dance up, and then you're in a fantastic position, and it did work a little bit better than this set, but unfortunately you can't have Natural Gift and Weak Armor, which made me really sad, and if I didn't have Natural Gift, I couldn't touch a lot of his team, so it's not the most optimal set, but it was such a meme at that point, I was like, I've got to bring some form of silly set here, so I decided to go for the Double Dance Skarm. Then we've got a very boring Vaporeon set with a bit of Spadef investment there with the nature to be able to handle some of his more prominent special attackers, especially along the lines of things like Heliolisk. And then finally a Assault Vest Shaman, which generally, tanks a lot of hits. It handles the Latios fairly well. We can Turkio with Dazzling Gleam. Heliolisk, we can take pretty much everything from that. Outspeed the Sizzle, go for the Hidden Power Fire, you know, Suppressor the Lantern, just a lot of things. You know, we might be able to take a Weather Ball from Victory Bell from full, and just generally, you know, bulky, be able to deal out some nice hits from there. But anyway, that is the team. What we're going to do now is go into the battle, and you can see exactly what happened from there. Okay, so we are at the match, and as you can see, he decided to bring the Heatran, Tauros, which is also, you know, relatively scary, the Silvally, which I need to try and work out what type it is, and I always really struggle trying to work out what types they are, the Sizzle, which I expect to, you know, check the Nihilego and put a bit of pressure on my Zygote, Dialga, and stuff like that. Then we've got the Latios, which is also very, very scary, but I've got a couple of switches to that, and then finally the Heliolisk. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off, in terms of lead, I decided Shaman looks to be my best lead. I can pressure a lot of his team, tank some hits, and just generally do a little bit of damage. So we'll click play here and you'll see what happens. So I decided to lead off with the Shaman. Now I do warn you guys in advance, I am recording this quite a few days in advance just because I've been super busy just trying to, just with work and stuff like that. So I may end up forgetting a few turns and things like that, but we shall see. So he leads off with the Heatran as I lead off with my Shaman. And I'm just going to throw out a cheeky little Earth Power, just in case he wants to set up his rocks, because he, you know, if he wants to get rocks up, this would be, you know, a fairly decent opportunity for him. But he decides to switch out, goes into the Silvally, which took me like 15 minutes, but like a good 50 seconds to try and work out exactly what that was by googling all the types. But this ends up being Silvally Bug, so that's pretty interesting to try and, you know, to help him versus my dog and stuff like that. So I'm just going to go into Skarm, just play it a little bit safe, but he does decide to go for U-turn here, which is in case he wants to go for a Swords Dance or something like that, but it's, you know, it's going to be a lot of Volt Turn pressure, which is going to be especially interesting. So out comes Smaug here, which is going to be his Heliolisk, and as you can imagine, like, every time this thing comes out, I'm in in more and more trouble. So I'm going to go out into my Nihilego, bit of a safe switch there, just because I can take pretty much anything it wants to go for, as he shows the U-turn here. So it looks to be probably choiced in some way, considering it's going to be like that, rather than sort of being willing to locked in. So, you know, potentially Specs with the U-turn or something like that. So out comes Dreamliner, which is going to be the Latios. So I'm just going to make my safe switch here and go out into my my Naish. So he actually then reveals the Earthquake here, which is pretty cool. So goes to the Earthquake. Luckily, I take that pretty well, and it gives me a pretty much free switch into my guy here. So that's pretty nice. So I'm going to get my leftovers back, and we're going to see what we're going to end up doing from here. If I remember rightly, we do some Wish Protect shenanigans. I decided to go for a Wish here just to see what this guy's up to. He goes to the T-Bolt here, and this does a fantastic amount of damage, and it is in fact a crit. So I'm going to have to do a few Wish Protects to try and get back up here. It is a little bit of a stally session going on here, as we are going to Wish Protect. I'll just let it run. I could skip forward a few turns, but it's a relatively short match, if I remember rightly. So he's going to switch out here, as I'm going to throw another Wish out as he goes out into Heliolisk. Now, as I said, I'm pretty sure this guy is going to be choiced, so I'm going to throw another Protect out from here, get myself up to a nice good amount of HP, which is great. And especially those leftovers coming in clutch, just healing me up a huge amount more than just that Wish. So I'm going to throw a Protect out here, see what this guy is up to exactly, and go on from there. So I go for the Protect, as he goes for the Volt Switch. Now here, as I said, I expect it to be locked. He's going to expect me to go Doggo, so he's going to try and find some way to be able to answer that. Most namely in the form of his U-turning... what's it called? Silvally or something like that, which does come out. So I decided to pull a double here, cheeky little double out into Nihilego, so I can, you know, throw out a Specs Power Gem and see what goes on from there. As I said, I've got HP ground on this guy for Heatran, so I kind of wish I had the HP Fire at this point. It was a really difficult call of which one to go for, because as you can see, the Sizzle comes out, and I would be, would have been pretty willing otherwise to click the HP Fire there. But we're going to go for a Power Gem. And this looks to be some sort of very, very Spadef Sizzle, because that took that way better than even like a max HP would take it. So that could be potentially just a way to be able to handle the Nihilego. So I'm going to switch out here. This is the problem though, is that he's got a lot of switches into my offense. I have trouble getting my offense in, as I always seem to be doing with this team. And also he's got the Volt Turn, so he can pressure me a lot, and I just don't have that Volt Turn on my side, which is not great at all. So I've got to decide what I want to do here. And I think, if I remember rightly, I just throw out a cheeky Scald, or I go for a Wish. I can't remember exactly turn for turn what I decide to do here. So he just switches out here, which is interesting, revealing he might not have the U-turn, actually, and goes straight out into his Smaug. I just go for Wish here, because I know if this guy comes out, I can just Protect, see what he's up to. If he wants to lock himself into U-turn, that's a free Scald out for me, and we're pretty much good to go from there. So I am going to go for the Protect here, just to see exactly what he's going to go for and what he's going to lock himself into. Because while he's got the Electric type there and he's got the T-Bolt on the Latios, it's looking like with Protect and enough switch-ins, as long as I can keep my, my doggy healthy, I should be pretty much okay. So I'm going to switch out here as he's revealed the Volt Switch. And this time I am going to go into my good boy, make the safer play here. And as I'm slower, as you can see, he's going to have locked himself in, goes to Volt Switch, and we're good for that. Now, in my head, I was like, is he going to go straight into his, There was a chance that I was debating between Outrage and clicking 1,000 Arrows. In reality, I probably should have clicked the Outrage here, but I played it a little bit too safe, which is definitely a mistake on my part. Definitely a big oversight. I should have really gone for the Outrage there, because that would have two-shot this guy really, really easily. And I'd have put a lot of pressure on. So he does force me out here, and he's probably going to go, as you can imagine, he's going to go for U-turn. And this is the problem. The Volt turning walls just put far too much pressure on my team, as he's going to go out here and go into Dreamliner, which is going to be his Latios. So back to pretty much square one here. No one's actually lost any Mons, if I remember rightly. We're 15 turns in at the minute, turn 16 now, and he's going to go for another T-Bolt. And as you can imagine, this one comes out as another crit again. So we've got to try and do a little bit more recovery. If I remember rightly, this is a fairly stally session, so I might actually skip a few turns, if I remember rightly, if this is going to let me. Please don't break, please don't break. I've never skipped a video before. I've never skipped this. I hope this works. I've only just done 2 turns. Okay, we might as well just let this play from now on. I really hope I've not broken this. Why does it take so long to skip a couple of turns? I might as well have just watched the turns from here. Oh, God. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll just cut to when it comes back. Oh, actually, no, we're back. Okay, that's fine. We didn't actually have to skip. So it's just a bit of wish protecting. We're not going to do any more skipping, because that just looks like a massive mistake. And we're just going to go for some wishes and protects, just trying to get as much HP back as we can. And eventually, I'm just trying to eye up when would be the best time to go into my Shaman, because my Shaman can tank a T-Bolt easily. I can two-shot this Dreamliner pretty comfortably, and I just need to see, he's probably going to have Ice Beam or Draco or something like that, but I can take a Draco solidly well. So I just need Naish up at a good amount of HP, where I can either switch out here, or I can do a few more Wish Protects and go on from there. It was just trying to make sure he didn't predict me to do that switch. So I think, yeah, at this point I do make the switch. I didn't want to do it on the Wish, just because that got a little bit obvious, and it meant Naish would be pretty weak. So I'm going to make the switch here, as they do come in on the T-Bolt. So that is fantastic. We're going to get our offense in finally, and I'm just going to throw out a little Dazzle, as he throws out an Ice Beam, doing a pretty solid chunk. Not a huge amount, considering I'm AV Shaman. You know, it's not going to two-shot me, which is great. And a Dazzling Gleam is going to do about 60%. So that's pretty nice. And now I've got to work out, do I stay in and go for like a Seed Flare, play it risky, or do I go for something else? So he sends out type question mark, question mark, question mark. And now all the way through this, I've been really struggling trying to work out how much Spadef investment this has got. Because it looks to be really physically defensive, but it takes my special attacks really quite well. So I go for him power here, calculate, it looked like it was going to kill here, and it just pips him, and he pops the rest here, and that was a very, very sad turn. So he is going to pop the rest here. This guy just seemed absolutely insanely bulky to me. I just couldn't get my head around at the time exactly what the spread was on this guy. So I'm going to have to switch out here, just hoping he doesn't get the Sleep Talk, the Sleep Talk U-turn. As I'm going to go into Trash Mode, because, I could get a Swords Dance or an Agility up, which would be pretty cool. If I can bop the Heliolisk and surprise it, that'd be nice. So he goes to Sleep Talk. I was like, come on, either rest or what other move you've got. And he gets the U-turn. So he's going to go out from there. So that was really unfortunate. We lost the 1 in 3 chance, which would have put Skarm in a great position. And he's going to go out into Smaug. So we're no longer at +2. So here, I had to try and debate whether I would switch out or if I'm going to stay in. I decided to stay in just in case he wants to go for U-turn, and I do end up getting the prediction wrong. It was a 50-50. I kind of had to take, and unfortunately Trash Pub doesn't get anything wrong, get anything done, which was very, very sad. So he's going to U-turn out. God damn it, electric types. Anyway, he's going to go out into Dreamliner now. So I can go out into Good Boy, and at this point I can just click Outrage, which is great. And I can just basically pressure what I want to, or I can go for the 1,000 Arrows. I think actually here, I do go for the 1,000 Arrows expecting him to stay in, or go into his Heatran. So he does actually then switch out into this type, question mark, question mark. So I should have probably locked myself into Outrage there. It was just a very, very difficult call with that Heatran in the back. As you can see, that's not going to do much. And calculating from there, 2 Outrages should definitely kill. So I can take a U-turn, and he has a chance to rest, and I don't know what his final move is. So I'm going to go for Outrage here. You know, if I can just get rid of this guy, it would be great. If I have to take a U-turn, I should be able to take it okay. I think if I remember rightly, I looked at had a chance to live. I can't remember. And he goes to the Sleep Talk, and I was like, come on, get the rest. And he gets the Ice Beam. So both Sleep Talks absolutely perfectly in the right one, and that's going to take out Good Boy. So that's really bad, because now Heliolisk is going to have a field day. It can Volt Switch every single time, and there's not much I can do. So I'm going to go into my Nihilego here, and just fire off another Power Gem. Oh no, I go for him Power Ground here. So this was a bit of a mistake on my part. I rushed this play thinking it was him Power Ground, not looking at the damages. Thinking it was him Power Fire, and that was unfortunate on my part. I should have just clicked Power Gem, and then I'd have got a kill. Though to be fair, he would have gone back to Sizzle, but it was still a stupid play on my part. I misclicked, expecting that to be HP Fire, and then realised straight afterwards it was HP Ground. So now I'm going to have to switch out. So that was a disastrous few turns. It was just generally a bit of a disastrous game for me, as he's going to go for EQ again, so that's great. And now we should be out of Thunderbolt range, just about, so that's really, really nice, and we can work out what we want to do from here. So there was, I must admit, from here there's a few turns of Wish Protecting, trying to get back up to a point where we can go out into Shaman and pass a Wish, because if we can pass a Wish to Shaman, we might have a bit more of a chance there, but it's really not looking good on my end. Not looking good at all. The fact that he's still got the, you know, he had his dog take out so many of my team, and I just don't have the way to get my offense in, and he's got ways to be able to check my offense both offensively and defensively at this point. So go for Wish here, go into my Shaman on the T-Bolt, which is on the Roost, which is okay. You know, we can two-shot this guy, so that's fine. So I'm just going to throw out a little Dazzling Gleam. If he wants to go Heatran, I can take a Fire Blast or anything like that pretty comfortably. So that's pretty nice. I just, at this point, it's trying to avoid the 6-0. So we're going to throw out a cheeky little Dazzling... No, we get Frozen. That was the other bit that really then won me out. But luckily, we do get on forward. And I'm going to go for the Dazzling Gleam here. Do a decent chunk to Latios. And here I was debating going for Earth Power with predicting the Heatran. Probably should have gone for the Manly play, but not much you can do here. I can still take another a Fire Blast pretty comfortably. So... that's definitely a thing. So I'm going to go for the Dazzling Gleam here. Not do a huge amount at all, but, you know, if it was, I don't know, Sash or something stupid like that, it would be good. So I'm going to go for Earth Power, but he does pop the Shucker Berry. I told you he'd either be Scarf or Shucker for this match to be able to take on my Mega Pinsir. So that's not going to be able to kill it, unfortunately, and he goes for the Lava Plume. So we're going to tank that, which is nice, especially being AV. Absolutely beautiful, Shaman. You're doing a great job. And here I decided to make the Manly play because I know he's going to switch out into that Latios, try and be cheeky. So we're going to throw out a Dazzling Gleam, last-ditch effort, and just throw a cheeky Dazzling Gleam out there. And it's not a 6-0, so that's always a victory. If you're going to lose, you might as well not make it a 6-0. So we do, on the predicted hit, we do manage to take out the Latios, which makes me very happy. But now the Tauros can come in, and Tauros just kind of cleans up. Especially depending on its moveset. So I'm going to switch out Shaman, because Shaman's still got a slight chance of wink on, whereas Naish, you just won't be able to live anything. So I'm going to take the Body Slam. That's going to take me out from there, unfortunately. And it's down to whether he's got Earthquake and Rock Slide. I know the Rock Slide is 100% going to be there, most likely. But, you know, maybe he won't have the Earthquake. Maybe he's got the Fire Blast or something like that. Or the Ice Beam for Shaman. But he does have the Bulldoze there. So that's going to be able to take me out from there. And we are just going to have a bit of a Tauros cleanup here, unfortunately, because I've not got anything that outspeeds. And just sad times, really. So Swag Stag's going to come out. You know, I've got to Mega Up first turn, so I am going to Mega Up. And it's just like, oh, hopefully he won't have it. But as you can imagine, spoiler alert, he does have the Rock Slide. So that's going to be unfortunate for us. So not a particularly great game on my side. It's just, as I said, it's problems I find. The draft is very two-dimensional. There's lots, it just has very frail offense. I sound like a broken record at this point. But it's just, it's really not a good draft. And I've tried my best to rectify it, but it's still... It's better than it was for my playstyle, but it's still not the same. So next season, you know, we're gonna ride it out. Hopefully, avoid relegation is the plan, but you never really know. And we'll just see from there. So not the most positive match in the world, but what can you do? It's Pokemon. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. I would really appreciate it, and I will see you guys later. Macadii out.